I'm live. You're good. Just took a second for it to pop up there. We'll check. We gotta find all my stuff here. Okay, we got sound. We're good. All right. Now we just wait for some people to join us. Nobody wants to play today. Usually a couple people pop in pretty quick.
Yeah, you usually get 4 or 5 at least right away.
Yeah. Get this thing situated on my head here. All right. There's somebody. All right. We got one. See, you can probably see who it is on the phone, right? Does they tell you who? I can't do it on the computer. No. All right. Not like on a live where when you go Facebook Live, it shows you who's all the people who are watching. So nobody, that one left. So I guess nobody wants to watch live today. They'll probably watch later.
Yeah.
So
That's something.
yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So we're back to talking about building an AR. We went through all the different. We built an AR, then we talked about all the different components and parts, and then we took a little break last week and we talked about some of the stuff that's happening on the 2A law front with the pistol brace rule and the frame receiver rule. Just today I saw a quick update on the frame receiver rule that the first appeal by the Department of Justice was denied. So they said that they told the ATF and the Department of Justice to go stuff it. The rule, as of right now, the rule is still vacated. So that's good news. Like I said, probably going to end up in the Supreme Court. Both of them will probably end up in the Supreme Court. But today we're going to talk about getting ready to build your first AR. If you've never built an AR, maybe you already own one or two or three or four, but you've got you've seen your buddies build one, or you've seen everybody's, the thing is building, right? Building your own AR. That's what we do, right? Build your own AR. So there's some things to take into consideration. There's, really 5 kind of key components of things you want to kind of make a checklist, maybe, or hi, Richard. Maybe some things you want to investigate before you decide to build your AR. And and they don't necessarily have to be in this order. These are just the 5 things that you want to kind of look at. I have as number 1 making sure you know your laws, what the local laws are, what the federal laws are. Obviously, there's not a lot as far as federal laws. Most of the restrictions that you're going to find in the AR world are state level and can even be city or community level. As you know, the state can have stricter laws than the federal government. They can have looser laws than the federal government. So here in Ohio, we don't have really any restrictions. There's no we're not restricted to anything. We don't have to worry about magazine capacities. We don't have to worry about barrel shrouds. We don't have to worry about anything, really. So, but, you want to make sure that, if your magazines are restricted. Maybe you're only allowed to have 10-round magazines. You want to make sure that you know that going in. Maybe you have to have a what they call a bullet button, where the mag release is recessed and can't be activated, your magazine is fixed, and it can only be removed with a special tool, and has to be loaded. Some of them you got to break the gun open. They make some attachments that go in through the mag or through the ejection port, and can load that way. But maybe maybe you're restricted to a 10-round magazine or a fixed magazine, so you want to make sure you know that. Maybe you're not allowed to have a pistol grip. You got to have that crazy little shark fin on the back that doesn't allow you to wrap your thumb around it. Maybe you're not allowed to have a threaded barrel. Maybe you're not allowed to have a collapsible stock. There's all these different little nuances that states and communities have come up with that apparently make a rifle less deadly. I don't get it, right? It's like doing all these things, right? No, you got to fix the buttstock. You can't have a flash suppressor. You got to have a fixed magazine. That somehow makes the gun less deadly. I don't understand it, but that's what they seem to think. So they've gone to restricting elements of the AR, and there are some flat out places and states and communities that have just outright banned them. If you own them already, you're allowed to have them. They're grandfathered, but hey, Riss, that's my kid. I think it was just Washington has banned ARs. There's some different places around the country that have just straight up banned them. You're not allowed to have them. You can't buy them. You can't manufacture them. You can't do anything. So make sure you understand and know your laws before you decide what you're going to build and how you're going to build it. We don't want to see anybody end up in prison. So next thing you want to look at is what's the purpose of your gun, and have a plan. Are you building, hey, I just want an AR, right? Everybody, all my buddies have one. They go to the range, they shoot off a couple hundred rounds, and then they put it away, and it comes out of the gun cabinet a few times a year, and they all get together and they go shoot for a little bit, or they go over somebody's backyard and have a barbecue and shoot a little bit, and you just want to have an AR. So that's going to maybe you're going to get a very inexpensive kit, and you're going to build your AR, and it's going to be a fun range toy, a plinker, whatever you want to call it. You can get away with a less expensive gun. You're not using it for, say, hunt or home defense. You're not using it to take care of life and property. Then you're going to want to make sure that you have higher quality stuff, right? If you're going to put your life on the line with that gun, then you want to make sure that you have the highest quality that you can get. Are you building a hunting rifle? Again, that goes back to knowing the laws of your state. Are you allowed to hunt with an AR in your state? Are you allowed to hunt with a semi-automatic? Pennsylvania, you're not allowed to hunt big game with a semi-automatic rifle. So that takes ARs out of the equation unless you block the gas block and basically make it a single shot that you have to use the charging handle every time you want to, cycle a new round. It's, for all intents and purposes, kind of like a bolt action. So you turn the gas block around, weld the gas block hole, however, and then you have to manually charge each time you want to load a round. Some states restrict for hunting certain calibers and case lengths and different things. Here in Ohio, we're allowed to hunt with our ARs, but we got to use straight wall or straight wall pistol cartridges. 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster, that kind of stuff. 357s, obviously not in the AR platform, but the two big ones in the AR platform for hunting deer are the 350 Legend and the 450 Bushmaster. 450 Bushmaster packs a wallop. The 350 Legend is a lot more shooter friendly for maybe your female hunters or your kids, but either one does a bang up job. I've killed deer with both of them, and it puts them down. They don't go far. competition, right? Are you building? Do you want to get into competition shooting, three gunning, different things like that? That's going to take you to a whole nother level of build, right? Because you're in competition. These guys spend a lot of money on their guns. They make them as light as possible because they're running and gunning with them. Um, yeah, yeah, Mike. I know your 450's deadly. I've helped you drag more than a few deer out that you've killed with it. So competition gun, right? You're going to spend, you're going to spend a couple grand on a competition gun if you want to make a good competition gun and make it right and have the right stuff on it to actually compete and be competitive. You want it to be accurate. You want it to be light. You want it to be durable. And to do all those things, you definitely have to spend a little bit of money. Next thing you want to look at accessories. What is it you want to put on, right? Start thinking about down the road, what do I want to have on my gun? Do I want a light and laser, right? Do I want... Oh, wow. My light and laser wires broke. I'll have to take that apart and see what's going on there. Have to do a little solder job. So this is a very cheap, inexpensive. I think this was off of Amazon or something. It was like $20. So get what you pay for, right? But the touchpad, right? Do you want a touchpad with your light and laser, right? You got does different functions, very bright, dim, strobing, and then you got a laser, right? I'll turn the and you can see the laser. Okay, so you got a light and laser. How are you going to attach that light and laser to your gun? Do you want an integral Picatinny on your handguard, or do you want a piece of Picatinny that you can mount through M-LOK and move it wherever you want it? That's what I like. I like to be able to move it wherever I want it, and if I'm not using it over there, I can just take it off and it's out of my way. Are you going to put a scope on your rifle? Hunting versus target shooting. Is a red dot going to be sufficient for you, or do you need that scope? Maybe an LPVO. I've got an LPVO on my 350 that goes from 0 to 4 power, perfect for deer hunting, and it also acts as a red dot. It has the red dot built into it, so I can use it as a straight red dot if I want to. 45-degree irons. You can see, right? I got 45-degree irons on this so that if my scope fails, right, I drop it, something, the glass breaks, whatever, I can just tilt and I've got backup iron sights. So these are the accessories that you want a sling. Do you want to put a sling on it? How are you going to attach the sling? What components are you going to use to attach that sling to your rifle? What kind of sling? There's all kinds of variables. Do you want to start upgrading the internals down the road? Start thinking, do you want maybe a drop-in trigger, which is a great enhancement to your accuracy? What kind of handguard do you want, right? Do you want a full flat top? Do you need a full flat top? Are you ever going to use this real estate here? Or maybe, like, I said, for competition, when you want light, okay, so here's a handguard that if you're not going to use all that real estate, we take it away, and now it's a couple ounces lighter. So everywhere you can shave a couple of ounces, you're looking to shave a couple of ounces out of that gun. So you start looking and planning all these things. Okay, I know I'm building a competition gun. I know I want lightweight, so I'm going to look at these different components, maybe a pencil barrel, maybe a lightweight bolt carrier group, maybe some skeletonized items to try to trim every ounce you can out of that gun. Hunting gun, you're not so much worried about all that weight. I do like a nice light hunting gun because I am lugging it around the woods all day, so I don't want to build a super heavy gun, but I want it to be rugged and durable because there are times when I fall down in the woods. It usually happens once or twice a year. I end up on my face, and my gun goes with me. So it's got to be rugged and durable, but as light as I can get it and still have that rugged durability for my hunting rifle. Competition, again, lightweight, unless you're talking about stationary long range. Are you going to be long range shooting where you're shooting off a bipod? Then you're going to want a heavier gun, because a heavier gun absorbs the recoil better and is going to be more accurate. The heavier the gun, the easier it is to control. It's easier to handle, right? But you're not lugging it around, so you don't care about the few extra pounds. Now we get into price and your budget. Okay, so saying up front, right? Okay, I want to spend $800. That's the maximum I want to spend on building an AR. I have yet to stay on budget. Every time I build one, I go over budget. Because, again, I'm going to get an ambidextrous this, and okay, this would look cool on that. And then, Cerakote, right? Do you want to all black anodized, or do you want to do something cool and Cerakote something like I've got here? This is a nice little 350 Legend, right? You can see, and what I did here was sent this off to a place down in Georgia. I think it was Deadeye or Dead Customs, something. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it was down in Georgia. It was Dead something. And the look I was going for here, obviously, is old school wood and black, but with all the modern, right? It's a modern AR, but it has that wood grain. The Cerakote is wood grain. So from a distance, right? From, what are we? We're 10 foot away here or so. You look at that at a glance, and you see, oh, it's wood, but no, it's not. So I have yet to. I haven't even shot this gun yet. I've had this gun built for over a year now, and I haven't even shot it. It's too pretty. I don't want to shoot it. But knowing that price of the budget that you want to stay within, $800, $1,000 competition, maybe it's $2,000. You're always going to be able to build more rifle than you can buy. You're not paying somebody else to assemble it, right? If you want to build a $2,000 gun, you can probably do it yourself for in that $1,500 to $1,600 range. If you buy all the parts, that same gun that you would put together in that ballpark is going to be on the shelf for $2,000, because you've got the assembly and then the markup of, you're probably paying markup through 2 or 3 channels anyway, but you're buying the parts instead of the whole gun, and you're not paying for that assembly and the markup on that assembly that somebody else is doing. And I really enjoy building an AR. It's kind of relaxing, and it's just really satisfying to build it and come out the other end with a gun that goes bang. Right? The first time you shoot it, or the first time you actually take it out and go hunting with it and harvest an animal with it after you've built an AR, really satisfying. Killed a few deer with my 350, and killed an 8-point buck with it last year, and just super cool feeling, knowing that I built that rifle and I'm able to use it and harvest animals with it. But again, don't stress over the budget too much. Just figure you're probably going to go over. I always have. The easiest way to stay in budget is maybe to buy that kit, right? If you were looking for a cheap gun, inexpensive range toy, buy the $500 kit and the $75 lower, and there you go. Boom, put it all together, and you're good to go. Now, part of your budget you should figure in, the next thing we're going to talk about is tools. And along with tools comes the know-how to use them. There are specific tools that you're going to need to build an AR. Right? You're going to need certain tools, armors, wrenches, um, torque wrenches. Okay, certain things have to be torqued to certain specs, and you want to make sure you do that because you are creating a controlled explosion that's happening just a few inches away from your face. You want to make sure that everything is done properly. Maybe you can swing over here just a little bit. Having a bench vise, right? This is kind of a must-have. You're going to want a bench vise to hold on to certain things, maybe your spline tool or your bench blocks, your vise blocks. You're going to want bench blocks. You're going to want picks, and you're going to want punches. We're going to do a show in a few weeks. I've got some stuff from Real Avid. I've got their Master Builder kit, and I've got their bench vise. And we're going to do it on. I'm resisting the urge to break into them and check them out because I want to do the unboxing and show right here on the T350 show and show you, what my initial thoughts are. I've used a few things from Real Avid. In fact, I've got a little Real Avid gun cleaning kit here. Been very happy with everything from Real Avid. Very good quality. My only, I guess, and it's not really a complaint because the stuff is good quality. It is made in China. And I guess if I had to say, if I had to complain about one thing, that would be it. But I can't complain about the quality. Real Avid has obviously got themselves a very good manufacturer in China because everything I've used from Real Avid has been very good quality. So I can't complain about it. I can just complain about where it was made because it should be made here. But it is what it is. And then along with the tools comes the know-how to use them. So where do you find the know-how? Places like BYOAR, we can help you with that. Videos, our video library is getting pretty extensive. We have built several ARs in here, and we go through the whole process and talk it through. Brownells on YouTube. There's just a host of places, sites on YouTube that have complete libraries of how to build an AR. My very first AR I ever built, I was sitting there watching a YouTube video, and I would watch a couple minutes of it, and then I would do what he did. And then I'd go back and watch a little bit more, and I would do what he did, and I'd watch a little, and that's how I built my first AR, was just watching a YouTube video very slowly and one step at a time and doing exactly what the guy on the video did. Utilizing your buddies. Maybe your buddies have built an AR. Maybe they already have the tools and they're willing to help you. They'll loan you the tools and loan you their know-how and their knowledge and teach you how to do it. And then the tool side too is so you spend a couple $100 on AR tools to build your AR. One, I promise you're never going to build just one AR. Nobody I know has ever built one AR. I've built many. Two, you're going to use those tools at different various points to do, we talked about doing those upgrades and those accessories. You're going to use those tools to do that. You're going to use those tools to maintain it when something breaks and needs fixed. You're going to use those tools to clean it when it needs cleaned. Those tools are going to come in handy for the rest of the life of your gun or guns. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money on tools because they're not just going to be a one-time use thing and then get thrown in the closet and never get used again. And maybe one of your buddies is going to want to build an AR and you'll have the tools to help him get started and get his first one going. So those are the 5 things. Knowing your laws. 1, make sure that what you're building or what you want to build is legal for you to own where you're living. Again, there are certain places that you're not allowed to have certain things. So you want to make sure you understand and know that. You don't want to get yourself in trouble and have an illegal gun. Some gun laws, some gun, some penalties for that kind of stuff. So it can be up to 10 years in prison. right? It certainly is not worth 10 years in prison for having an illegal gun. So even though no gun should be illegal. Well, I'll get off that. I won't jump on that soapbox. Having a purpose and a plan, right? Plan it, figure out what the purpose is, and plan it. What do I want to do with the gun? And then plan how I'm going to buy the parts and build the gun. What accessories do I want on it? Do I want a red dot? Do I want a scope? Do I want a light and laser? Do I want a sling? All these different things that you can kind of go down the checklist, and that's going to dictate what parts you buy. Price and budget is kind of maybe one that even should be number 1 or 2 after knowing your laws. Price and budget might even be number 2, right? Setting that first and saying, okay, I know that a competition gun's going to be real expensive. Maybe a home defense gun is best for me. I can use it for range and for home to right. So, is it going to be a multi-purpose gun? You always want to go with the higher purpose and build the best gun for the highest purpose that you have for that gun. It'll always do the lesser stuff easier than it will. If it's a lesser gun, it's not going to do the higher stuff as well as a higher gun is going to do the lesser stuff, if that makes sense. Did that make sense? Good. My camera guy says, yeah, that makes sense. And then having the tools and the know-how. Learn, watch a bunch of videos first before you even get started building. Watch 2 or 3 or 4 videos of guys building an AR, and make sure they're good videos where they explain what they're doing and what those parts are and what those parts are doing. When you build your own AR, you're probably never going to have to take that gun to a gunsmith to have it fixed. You know that gun. You know every spring. You know what every spring does. You know what every screw does. These are very basic guns. There's really not much to them. Super easy to work on, super easy to build. And if something breaks, you have a real good idea how to fix it. Right? If trigger spring breaks, you know how to take the trigger apart because you put it together. So, you're always going to learn a ton about how to fix the gun, work on the gun, maintain the gun by building the gun. And then buying the right tools to do the right job. A decent toolkit, the Real Avid toolkit is $200 and some dollars. Money well spent on a decent toolkit, money well spent. Because again, like I said, you will use it time and time again for different things down the road. Maintenance, upgrades, repairs, so on and so forth. So those are the 5 things you should look at when you're building your own AR or getting ready to build your own AR. I'm going to have a blog coming up on the site, on the BYOAR site, that talks about all this, and maybe even have a checklist in there that you can print off or something, and you can go down through and check off all these things that you want to make sure as you're getting ready to build your own AR. Next week, we are going to talk about, so now you've decided you wanted to build it, you've done all the stuff, and you've bought it, and you've built it, and you've taken it out and you've shot it a few times. Now you want to become very accurate with it. You want to hone in on the accuracy of your gun and making you and your gun as accurate as it can be. And we're going to talk about the 4 things that you can do that will make you a better AR shooter. Right? 4 things you can do, very easy things that will make you have better control of your gun. And once you have better control of your gun, you are going to be more accurate. So that's what we're going to take a look at next week. That's all I have for this week on this subject. I think I covered everything. And yeah, so hey, it's almost August, man. Can you believe it? Summer is gone already. It's starting to cool down at nights, but I don't mind that because that means hunting season's right around the corner. The archery equipment has come out of the come out of the woodwork, or come out of the out of its hiding place, and we're starting to do a little practicing with the archery stuff and getting ready because it's just about 2 months away. We'll be bow hunting for deer, and it's always one of my favorite times of year. I absolutely love bow hunting for deer. I love gun hunting, but I really love bow hunting for deer. So join me next week. We'll talk about the 4 things you can do that will make you a better shooter with your AR. Always, as always, appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to upgrade it, or maintain it. We're here to help you with that. Thanks. We'll see you guys next week.